جاوب عن سؤالي يا قلبي يا خالي، جاوب عن سؤالي، مشغول من ايه وشاغلني ليه، مشغول من ايه وشاغلني ليه، ليه يا قلبي يا قلبي ليه،
يا خالي جاوب عن سؤالي، يا قلبي يا خالي جاوب عن سؤالي،
مشغول من ايه وشاغلني ليه، مشغول من ايه.
All right. Let's see if I'm showing. Right, guys, welcome to the second episode of the 10+1 World Cup Podcast. My gosh, the sounds outside, fam. God. All right, so let's get started. Today's episode, we are going to be talking about our match day 1 review and how the teams have done at this World Cup. And we will also be taking a look at the preview for match day 2 of the next round of matches of this World Cup group stage. And just so you know, please do subscribe to the channel and like this stream, and also ring the notification bell so that you don't miss any of these podcasts that will be coming out throughout the tournament. And the next episode, the third episode, which will have the match day 2 review, will be on Tuesday, 1 p.m. UK time, which is the 29th of November. So it'll be a lot later than this. This will be the only early time that I'll do the podcast, and that's because the Iran versus Wales match will be very, very soon, in like 2 hours for me. So yeah, that's why I'm doing this specific episode early. Now, let's get started with the review of the matches from match day 1. So let me first share my screen. Share screen. World Cup. And we will go in chronological order. So let's first start off by talking about Qatar versus Ecuador. I did a live stream of this. I would say the first half was quite interesting, but Ecuador did show the quality early on in the game, and they had a goal ruled out for offside. But I didn't know that till like 30 minutes later. But in the end, Ecuador come out very strong in the match overall, and the game was practically over in the first half. So that was really, really, in a way, it was a bit of a exciting opening game, but not like the most impressive opening games. You usually don't get like very fun and exciting first matches of the tournament. And the second half was one of the most boring second halves ever. Like literally nothing happened. So yeah, that for me was like, yeah, it's not really the best game so far in the tournament. Probably one of the worst, to be honest. And yeah, Ecuador in the end deserved the win, and they're looking forward to hopefully picking up more points against the Netherlands in match day 2. Next up was England versus Iran. I also did a watch along for this game, and the game was super long because they had a total of 25 to 30 minutes of added time, which was like, I know there's no rule about adding in more time to alleviate the time wasting. That's why they add in more minutes. So technically, it makes the 90th minute a bit irrelevant. I'm still kind of iffy on it, to be honest. Yeah, but this game, England versus Iran, England 6 goals against Iran. But I'll tell you this: the concussion injury, which took like literally 20 minutes of the game, in a way killed any sort of game plan that Iran had, and England just overall showed their quality. scoring 3 goals in both halves, actually. And let me be honest, the game wasn't that exciting. Maybe for England fans it was, and for sure not for the Iran fans. But to be honest, it was so boring. Like, I know there were 8 goals, but it wasn't like a thriller or anything. It was just an easy game for England to get the 3 points to start off their World Cup campaign. And that sets them up well for the next game against USA, whereas Iran have to, in about 2 hours, play Wales and hopefully win that game. All right, then the next match, the second match of Group A, was Senegal versus Netherlands. This match was quite a tight affair, to be honest. I think both teams wanted to come out a little bit strong, but also a bit cautious, I believe. Obviously, Sadio Mane for Senegal, and Netherlands didn't start Memphis Depay, probably due to match fitness, but he did play as a second half substitute. And when the goal came, when Cody Gakpo got the first goal for the Netherlands around the 80th minute or something like that, I think the game was done when he scored, because I felt like the Netherlands were a lot more better defensively, and also offensively they were quite able to create opportunities for their wide forwards and obviously for Cody Gakpo to score. And then the second goal came in literally the last kick of the game, killed the game for Senegal after a mistake by Edouard Mendy. Yeah, to be honest, the game wasn't that exciting, but it was the first sort of tight matchup. So in a way, it was a little bit more exciting, but not like the most thrilling game when at that point so far in the tournament. And yeah, Netherlands once again picking up a win at the World Cup. And then the final game on Monday was USA versus Wales. It was practically a game of two halves. USA were much more better in the first half. And in the second half, Wales were the much more better team. And look, both goals for both teams came when they were both good. USA scored in the first half through Timothy Weah, and the second half, Gareth Bale scored a penalty. I think both teams maybe felt like maybe one of them could have won the game. The USA could have killed the game in the first half. Maybe in the second half, Wales could have scored 2. And I think a point for both teams is quite a respectable one, because considering how the game went. And so it will be quite interesting to see how Wales and USA could possibly capitalize on the next game, especially Wales, since they play Iran in just a couple of hours. And then moving on to the Tuesday games. So the first game on Tuesday was, I would probably say, was game of the tournament so far, which was Argentina 1, Saudi Arabia 2. This was one of the biggest shocks at this World Cup. One of the biggest shocks of all time in World Cup history. Argentina took the lead to Lionel Messi. And in the first half, it looked like Argentina were going to score 2, 3, even 4 goals. They had 3, 4 goals ruled off for offside, and Saudi Arabia were playing quite risky here. But in the end, the halftime, it was Argentina 1-0, and you can see that there was a clear game plan for Saudi Arabia. And so when Saudi Arabia scored the equalizing goal, like 2-3 minutes into the second half, you knew that the momentum really shifted in that game. And then when Saudi Arabia scored the second goal and the game-winning goal, and possibly, I think, the 2 goals, this goal, the second winning goal, the goal of the tournament, sealing the game of the tournament, the shock of the tournament, and Saudi Arabia beating Argentina in the end. why I call this the game of the tournament. You had two teams that you didn't think were going to go head to head, actually went head to head. It had the drama, it had the comeback, it had a practically the one of the best game winning goals. It had everything. It had emotion, especially near the end of the game, as well as the Saudi goalkeeper had probably the game of his life. So, to be honest, if I had to rewatch any game so far in this tournament, it would probably be this Argentina 1, Saudi Arabia 2 match, and it really set up Group C to be quite entertaining, especially when Argentina have their backs against the wall against Mexico in their next game. Then the next game, Denmark versus Tunisia. To be honest, it was quite exciting. It kind of mirrored the Argentina Saudi Arabia game, apart from the goals. To be honest, I'd probably say that Tunisia were the better team, but I think Denmark had the best chance. A corner whipped in, and then header from I forgot who was it, for Denmark, hitting the post practically and going out. Um, and yeah, look, I think a 0-0 draw was probably the best result for Tunisia because they play Australia next. So you could be looking at Tunisia being 4 points in this World Cup, and really, in a way, setting themselves up to be quite competitive at this World Cup. And yeah, it was really fun to watch Tunisia in that game, especially when I said they were quite defensively sound, and they were keeping Denmark to a goalless draw. And then the next game was another goalless draw. Mexico 0, Poland 0. I did a live watch long to this game, and to be honest, there were moments in the game that were quite exciting, but in the end, both teams had very poor finishing, and yeah, it wasn't a really exciting game so far. I think it was one of the worst games of the tournament, if I'm going to be honest. Really poor finishing, and obviously the highlight of the game was Guillermo Ochoa saving a penalty of Robert Lewandowski. Had Lewandowski scored, that would have put the group wide open, in terms of putting Poland in a very good position in the group as well. And yeah, 0-0 draw. I think it was a fair result, but it wasn't really a fun game, to be honest, if I had to say that. And then the final game on Tuesday was France versus Australia, and this is where France really showed up. But it did look like the champions curse was going to happen when Australia scored in the first 10 minutes of the game. But then you knew that once Australia took the lead, that they're going to sit back, and they did. And in the end, it was France that scored 2 goals in both halves of the game. 2 goals. Adrien Rabiot, and I believe it was Olivier Giroud scoring the goals in practically in 5-6 minutes of each other to give France the quick turnaround. And then in the second half, Mbappe and Giroud scoring 2 goals again, I think in quick succession. And yeah, France 4, Australia 1. Not really the champions curse that I was hoping for. Now it looks like France are more likely to make it out of the group stage and into the next round compared to probably Denmark. Denmark could be an early exit, a surprise early exit in this tournament. So we will have to wait and see how that goes, because France do play Denmark in the next game, which will be very, very crucial as well. And then on Wednesday, the Wednesday matches, we had Morocco versus Croatia, and this game ended in a 0-0 draw. And if I'm going to be completely honest, it wasn't that exciting. I think there were spells in the game that I felt like maybe Morocco had opportunities, but I think Croatia had the best overall in terms of the opportunities. But Morocco did have the chances to maybe have something in the game. And to be honest, it wasn't the most exciting game. Nothing really much to talk about. I think both teams, maybe a draw wasn't the best. Because I think 3 points would have been a massive help, considering that the next games, to be honest, are going to be a lot more difficult, I would say. Let me get a drink. Yeah, so next game was Germany versus Japan. This game was probably one of the contenders for game of the tournament as well. But yeah, again, just like the USA-Wales game, this was a game of two halves. The first half, Germany were kind of all over Japan. Even when Japan scored, a disallowed goal for the first 10 minutes of the game. But you knew that Germany were going to take control, and they did, scoring a goal through Ilkay Gundogan after the goalkeeper, the Japanese goalkeeper, Gonda, brought down Guam in the box. Quite terrible defending from Japan and goalkeeping as well from Gonda. And throughout that game and then heading into the second half, obviously Japan was still in it, but you knew that Germany were trying to take their chances, but they weren't finishing them. And when Japan did score an equalizer, I think the game really shifted. And then when the second goal came in from Asano, I think, so actually both goals for Japan, Ritsu Duran and Takumi Asano, or Takuma Asano, scoring the two goals that really helped Japan win that game. And so I would probably say that Japan were worthy winners in that game. And it really, really puts a lot of pressure on Germany, because if a certain result doesn't go their way, on Sunday, if Germany did not win, if Germany loses, that's Germany out of the tournament right there. And we're just one week into the tournament. So yeah, that would be very, very depressing for Germany if that is to happen to them. So yeah, but Japan, they set themselves very nicely in the next match, which is against Costa Rica, which we will talk about now. Spain 7, Costa Rica 0. I did a post-match reaction to this game, and it was a onslaught. It was gone. Costa Rica there's three contenders for the worst team in this World Cup: Qatar, Iran, and Costa Rica. Everyone thought maybe Iran and Qatar still have something into them. Costa Rica had absolutely nothing at all. Even I know it was against Spain, and I know they were doing nothing. They didn't have any sort of creativity, any sort of drive, no real energy to them. And Costa Rica conceding 7, that's the worst defeat. And that's when you consider that just 8.5 years ago, Costa Rica were in the quarterfinals of a World Cup and a penalty shootout away from reaching the semifinal. And now for them to lose 7-0, unbelievable. I think Costa Rica already out. Costa Rica out of the World Cup already, because that was one of the worst performances from a team against Spain ever. But from a Spain perspective, like let's talk about how good Spain were. Obviously, I support Spain, but today I have a Brazil kid. Um, Spain dominant, easy. Once the first goal came in, the nerves are settled because everyone said that Spain don't score a lot of goals, and I did predict that this game was going to be a 1-0 Spain. Obviously, I did not expect how terrible Costa Rica were, but when that first goal went in from Dani Olmo, it was the nerves settled. And when Asensio got the second, game over. It was game over already for Costa Rica, and that was only after 21 minutes or something like that. So it was a very very easy game for Spain, and it was just about how many goals can Spain score, and in the end, it was a 7. Yeah, just a terrible game for Costa Rica. Just no, no. But for Spain, it definitely puts Spain in a very good position in terms of goal difference if want to top the group. Who knows? And then the final game on Wednesday was Belgium versus Canada. This game was a it was an alright game, to be honest. It wasn't the best game, but the first half was, if you were to put one half of the World Cup to be the half of the tournament, I think the first half of Belgium versus Canada was that, because that first half was crazy. I did not at all expect Canada to be guns blazing in that first 30 minutes of the game. They had a penalty, and it was a penalty save. Alfonso Davies missing the penalty, Courtois saving it. But Canada, even after that, would keep on putting a lot of chances, but they were not scoring. They had, I think, 20 in the end of the game. They had 22 shots at goal. I think 6 or 7 on target, whereas Belgium only had 5 or 6 or maybe 7 shots on goal to try to score, and maybe like 2 or 3 of them on target. But when it mattered most, Belgium, near the end of the first half, Michi Batshuayi scoring quite a very good goal to make a big sucker punch, like literally killed Canada's momentum. And I did predict a 2-0 Belgium, but I knew that the quality of Belgium, if it was one of those games, Belgium's quality would outshine Canada. And it did. And very unluckily for Canada, because I thought Canada were very impressive. I did not expect Canada to be doing that, to be honest. I really thought, to be honest, I know a lot of people hype Canada up. I didn't understand why. But yeah, to be honest, they were good. It's just that they need to score goals, to be honest. They really have to take their chances, because that game against Belgium was there for the taking. And yeah, it was not a good performance by Belgium, and they were lucky to get 2 points in that game. So yeah, it really does help Belgium out in this group. And Canada, look, they're not out of it because of how well they played in that first half. Second half wasn't really that impressed with them. I think the energy was gone from Canada in that second half. And Belgium saw it out in the end. Could have killed the game at 2-0 as well. And then the games yesterday. We'll start off with Switzerland versus Cameroon. Switzerland versus Cameroon. First half, quite, head to head, quite level, to be honest. Cameroon had their chances, and I was really, really hoping that Cameroon could take their chances compared to Canada. They didn't, and then when Switzerland scored the first goal in that match, just like within the first 5 minutes of the second half, through Bill Mbolo, who was born in Cameroon but plays for Switzerland, scoring against his country of where he was born. It really killed the Cameroonian hope and vibe about them, because if I'm going to be honest, it had a similar story to the Canada game, where both Canada and Cameroon had spells in the game whereby they were the better team, but when the quality showed, when it matters most, both Belgium and in this game Switzerland took their opportunities, and 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 it kind of killed the game in a way. Not really the game, but killed the momentum of, in this one, Cameroon. And Cameroon, just in general, in that second half, were trying to press and try to find an equalizer. But in the end, it wasn't really meant to be. But in a way as well, I was quite impressed with Cameroon. It was just, they're in a tough group. And yeah, we'll have to wait and see if Cameroon can step up and be just like Canada, a little bit more clinical in front of goal. And then the second match yesterday was Uruguay 0, South Korea 0. So this was the fourth 0-0 draw in the first 16 games of the tournament. Well, actually, at that time, first 14 games of the tournament. And it was actually quite exciting, even though it was a 0-0 draw. There are a few 0-0 draws that maybe have been boring, but this was a quite exciting 0-0 draw. I know, no goals at all, but I think the tempo of the game from both teams was very exciting from Uruguay and South Korea, because both teams had chances, but again, not clinical. And maybe that's because of the pragmatism from both teams. South Korea were very good defensively, but so were Uruguay. And to be honest, it was a very difficult game to call between the two teams. And I'd probably say that maybe the draw was a fair result. I think it favors South Korea more because they have the quote-unquote easier game in Matchday 2 against Ghana. And so Uruguay, once again, just like Denmark, not able to take chances to kill the game off, because I think Uruguay had the best chance of the game, a header on the post from Godin at the end of the first half. And then another one hitting the post or the crossbar from Federico Valverde. Denmark and Uruguay could be looking at an early exit at this World Cup if results do not go their way. And then, so Uruguay, South Korea, 0-0, a fair result, to be honest. Next game, Portugal 3, Ghana 2. I think this one, does it rival? Yeah, I think this game, Portugal 3, Ghana 2, rivals the Argentina-Saudi Arabia game as, in a way, game of the tournament, but I don't think it was the game of the tournament. I still think Argentina-Saudi Arabia was so far the game of the tournament. Obviously, I can understand why people say Portugal-Ghana was, but the first 60 minutes of the game was so dreadful. It offered really nothing, to be honest. Both teams trying to snuff each other out. But obviously, there was a controversial VAR decision. Well, actually, no VAR decision, because a penalty was awarded to Portugal, which Cristiano Ronaldo scored and becomes the first player to score at 5 World Cups. And he is also Portugal's youngest and oldest goal scorer at a World Cup, which is quite unbelievable. And I believe it was Ronaldo's 8th goal in World Cups. So, congrats to him. But yeah, I don't know. Looking back on that foul that gave away the penalty, to be honest, I don't think it really. I think it was slightly a penalty, but I can understand why there was protest But I also didn't understand why there was no VAR call on it. I really don't understand why. I think it had enough in it to warrant a VAR call. And then Ghana equalized shortly after through Andre Ayew, and it looked like the game was favoring Ghana. And then two substitutions later, taking out I think Kudos and Andre Ayew for a little bit more defensive, cover. It didn't work out because Portugal, like literally, scored two goals in 3 minutes and got the game at 3-1, and it looked like Portugal killed the game. But then after that, Ghana, not equalized. They scored their second, got one back. I think it was Bukhari who scored, and also it was the first goal that the continent of Africa scored at this World Cup. So Ghana are the only African team to score so far at this World Cup. And then in the 98th minute or whatever, literally a mistake at the back from the Portugal goalkeeper Diogo Costa. He put the ball like to set up to kick it long or whatever, but Inaki Williams was behind him and came in and slipped at the worst time possible to equalize for Ghana. He slipped and missed opportunity. And oh my God, if that went in, that would have been so comical, but also one of the unfortunate decisions. Because if Ghana equalized there, the group would have been so much better for them. And yeah, it was the last 30-40 minutes of the game was a lot more entertaining than the first half or the first 60 minutes, to be honest. And do I think Portugal deserved the win? Maybe slightly, but I can see why Ghana were robbed. I think Ghana were a little bit robbed of getting at least a point in that game because I think they showed resilience and hope. And then the final game of the first match day was Brazil against Serbia. And to be honest, Serbia didn't really offer anything going forward, but I'll say they were good defensively in that first half, but I think in the end the quality showed from Brazil in that first half. And once that first goal went in for Brazil, I think it kind of killed the game for Serbia because Serbia just didn't offer anything. Even when they brought on Vlahovic, just to be honest, it really didn't offer anything. I don't know if it was a tactical move to not start Vlahovic, but I don't really think that it was the best move for Serbia to not start Vlahovic. And then I would probably say maybe the goal of the tournament, Richarlison scoring his second goal, took the ball from his feet, or the pass came in from I think Vinicius Jr. Put in, Richarlison put the ball over his head, turns, and then kind of scissor kicks or bicycle kick, whatever, puts it into the back of the net for, I would say, the goal of the tournament. And that's when, and I felt like I just had to, applaud, to be honest. I had to applaud that that goal from Richarlison. And in the end, I think Brazil deserved the 3 points to help themselves out in this group. So that's match day 1 review done and dusted. And now we are moving on to match day 2. And this is where the tournament really, really kicks on because everyone has seen each other play and everyone now knows that these second round games is where it really matters. Because if you win, you really set yourself up for that final game of the tournament. So the first game, Wales versus Iran. For now, I think I have to go with a Wales victory. I will go with a 2. I'll say a 2-1 to Wales. 2-1 for Wales. Obviously, do let me know in the comment section below, and if you're in the live chat, do let me know your predictions for the games for today between Wales, Iran, and for the rest of match day 2. So I'm going with a Wales 2-1 win. Next game, Qatar versus Senegal. That looks like a fairly decent game to look out for, because I think Qatar have to have a response. Ooh. And okay, you know what? I think they will. I think Qatar will have a response. I'm going for a 1-1 draw. A 1-1 draw. Next up, Netherlands versus Ecuador. Ooh, that's a real tough test for Ecuador. I think this could be another game of the tournament. I will go Netherlands 3, Ecuador 2. That's what I'll go for. I think there will be goals in this game. And then England versus USA. I think it's one of the most exciting games to look out for in this tournament. It is football against soccer or whatever. I think there could be goals in this game. Maybe not as much as Netherlands, Ecuador. So I am going for a 2-0 win for England. Maybe just about for England. 2-0 England. Yeah. And then the next game, let's scroll down. The next day, which will be tomorrow, Tunisia versus Australia. I think Tunisia offered a lot in the game. Tunisia have to take the chance here. They really have to. So I think because of how the group falls, I think Tunisia have to take their chance. I am going for a 1-0 Tunisia win over Australia. And then the next game, which is Poland versus Saudi Arabia. Ooh, that will be fun because Poland have to get a response in Saudi Arabia. Hopefully that's not just a flash in the pan. That performance against Argentina. And so, you know what? I think I don't know if it'll be a surprise because they've done very well already, but I would do it. I am saying Saudi Arabia wins this game 2-0. That's my prediction. 2-0 to Saudi Arabia. That'll be my prediction against Poland. So it will put Poland in a lot of danger, and I think that will qualify Saudi Arabia for the next round of the World Cup. Who would have thought? And then we have France versus Denmark. This could be a draw. I think, again, we need a response from Denmark here. I think we do. Ooh. I am going to say Denmark get a response from here. I'm saying Denmark 1, France 0. Yeah. Denmark 1, France 0. And then the final game on Saturday, actually. I know it says Sunday, but on Saturday. Argentina against Mexico. That is a classic match to look out for. And I'm going to say this. I think we could get a draw. I think Mexico can hang on and really stifle this Argentina team. So I'm going for I'll go. You know what? I'll go 0-0. A 0-0 draw between Argentina and Mexico. A 0-0 draw in that game. That'll be my prediction. I don't think Mexico have enough quality up top, but I think they can be very defensively sound to stifle that Argentina attack. And then on Sunday matches, a big one for Japan. Japan versus Costa Rica. I would expect Costa Rica to not embarrass themselves again. So I think it'll be a little bit more tight and close. So I will go with a Japan 2-0 win. A 2-0 win for Japan. I don't think Japan will have a field day, but I think Japan will have enough quality to kill the game for Costa Rica and eliminate Costa Rica in a way. And then the next game, Belgium versus Morocco. This is big for Morocco. Ooh, my nose is itchy. Because it is a crucial game between probably a team that defensively isn't that good in Belgium. But again, Morocco weren't able to take their chances against Croatia. And as I said, a bit of quality can kill the game for Morocco. And I think it will. I think the quality will shine through for Belgium. I am going for a 1-0 victory for Belgium. I think once again the quality will shine through for Belgium. And then the next game is Croatia versus Canada. This would be a bit exciting. I think Canada will score. I think Canada will get the first goal of the tournament here. And I think it will be a little bit more exciting than what maybe most people would think. So I will go for a 2-2 all draw. Yeah, a 2-all draw between Croatia and Canada. And then the final game on Sunday night. This is a big one. Spain versus Germany. If Japan beats Costa Rica, this is do or die for Germany because Germany has to win. But as a Spain fan, the thought of eliminating Germany this early on in the tournament definitely helps. I think Spain take their chances. And I am going for a 2-1 Spain win. And that will eliminate Germany from the World Cup. The team that I predicted to reach the World Cup final. So my World Cup predictions are in the mud. So, oh well, who cares? I love the World Cup. So, yeah, Germany. I'm predicting them to be eliminated from the World Cup on Sunday. Gosh, I did not expect that, to be honest, at all. this early as well. And then the final round of matches on match day 2, on the final day. First up, we have Cameroon versus Serbia. And I think Cameroon can take their chances as well. And I think there is that Serbia hype, as I said, that people have, but I don't really trust. So I am going for a Cameroon 2-1 victory over Serbia. I believe in Cameroon, so hopefully Cameroon do bits in that game against Serbia. And then the next game, which is South Korea versus Ghana. This is a big game for South Korea because it's a big one. It's a huge match for South Korea because if they win, it really sets them up very well to progress throughout the tournament. So I'll back my Korean brethren. I will go with a South Korea 1, Ghana 0. And I think that will eliminate Ghana from the World Cup. I forgot who else will be eliminated if my predictions are correct. So yeah, I'll go South Korea 1, Ghana 0. And then the next game, Brazil against Switzerland. I will go with a very close and narrow. Another 2-0 win. Another 2-0 win for Brazil, I am predicting. Yeah. I just think, once again, the quality will shine through for Brazil against this Switzerland team. And then the final game of the match day 2 is Portugal against Uruguay. And it'll be tough, but I will settle with a 0-0 draw. That would be my prediction for that game. A 0-0 draw between Portugal and Uruguay. And that would mean that Uruguay would not score a goal in the first 2 games, practically. I could eliminate them in a way as well, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, those are my predictions. Oh, Florian says, hello. What's up? Welcome to the podcast, basically, or the show. So those are my predictions for match day 2 of the World Cup. So let me stop sharing. Yeah, so in a way, those are my thoughts and my review on match day 1 and also my predicted scorelines for match day 2. Obviously, I wasn't able to do what do you call these live watch longs for the past couple of days, and that's because of the bad internet. I can watch the football matches and do this, but I can't live stream the game as well. I can't do a live watch long and a live stream because of the internet issues in my country. So hopefully I get to do a watch long tomorrow because I can expect the internet to be terrible again. But regardless, I am excited for today's games. Obviously, the final game of today is England versus USA. A big one. Whoever loses that, I'm going to throw them, and whoever wins that, fair play. Will it be football that comes up on top, or will it be soccer? Who knows? But anyway, and maybe I'll add in just a little bit more of a snippet of my World Cup fantasy team. So my World Cup fantasy team is here, if you can see. Oh wait, so my World Cup fantasy team. So I decided to play the wild card. My 12th man was terrible. I picked Di Maria in the first round. He scored 1 point. But anyways, so I'm just going to reiterate my rules for my fantasy team. I need at least one player from Asia, one player from Africa, and one player from North America. So I actually do have 4 players. I think I have 4 players. 4 players from outside of Europe and South America. I have from Asia, I have Gonda and Kamada, both playing against Costa Rica. I think Japan keep a clean sheet and score. So hopefully Kamada gets on the score sheet. From Africa, I have Damen. I just don't really think Australia will offer much, and maybe it'll be a clean sheet for Tunisia. And the next player from North America, Alphonso Davies. He played very attacking. I'm not sure if he'll be on penalties if Canada do get a penalty, but he looked very, very lively, especially in that first 30 minutes. But I think if Canada play a little bit different and have energy throughout the 90 minutes, I think Alphonso Davies can get himself an attacking return, maybe an assist, and who knows, maybe a clean sheet because he plays a lot more further forward. So I think Alphonso Davies is a good pick from North America for me. And then the rest of the team, defense, I have Dumfries, Trippier, Castagne, and Alex Telles over here. I think looks pretty good. And then my midfield is these 5. As I said, Kamada, but I also have Kevin De Bruyne. I think Belgium can score against Morocco. Also have Bukayo Saka. He was the top scoring player in Matchday 1. So I think maybe he can continue that goal scoring, or at least scoring some attacking returns for Matchday 2 against the USA. It'll be a lot more competitive, I would say. So it might be more difficult to score points, but I can see Saka getting something in that game. And then I have Bergwijn from the Netherlands and Angel Di Maria, this time not as a 12th man, but as a player in my starting 11 for now. And then up top, I have Lionel Messi, who will be my captain. And then if the captain doesn't work out, then I'll probably switch it to either De Bruyne or Richarlison. So obviously I have Messi, I have Lautaro Martinez, and I have Richarlison. So I have triple Argentina because surely there has to be response from Argentina, especially in the attack. And if Mexico, I did predict a 0-0, but if it doesn't work out, I think Argentina wins. And hopefully there'll be goals for those 3. And as I said, Richarlison as well. So I have double Brazil against Switzerland as well. And if that is needed, then yeah. So hopefully all my players score me points because I did not do well in match day 1 at all. But yeah, that's my wildcard team. Obviously, there's only about an hour before the deadline. So this looks likely to be my team for match day 2. So yeah, that is practically all for the 10+1 World Cup podcast, match day 1 review and match day 2 preview. Hopefully tomorrow I can do a live watch along, hopefully with the internet. I'm not sure, to be honest. I can do a live watch along for the France versus Denmark game, which I think will be a very exciting game. It could be a winner takes all. Denmark could be eliminated. Who knows? But anyways, do give this live stream a like, and please do subscribe to the TENDEITEM channel. I am literally, I'm not sure. I'll check actually. How many subscribers am I away from 200? That's what I want to know actually. Let me check. How many subscribers do I have right now? Probably be. I know I'm close to 200 subscribers, but I'm not sure how many I have. Right now I have 198 subscribers, which is actually a really. I'm 2 subscribers away, so please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because it would mean a lot for me. Especially because my aim is 250 for this World Cup, so to reach 200 would be a big step for me. But anyways, do subscribe, like the stream, and ring the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my World Cup content. Hopefully, I get to do some live watch-alongs. And the next episode, which will be on, well, for this podcast, will be on Tuesday, the 29th of November at 1 p.m. UK time, which will be 9 p.m. my time. So it'll be a lot more easier and maybe a lot more better for people watching, because it's a little bit later in the day and not at like 8 a.m. in the UK, or it's almost 9 a.m. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. I know there wasn't any guest, but that's because 2 of my friends who were in the first episode are busy today. But I hope that they'll be available for the match day 2 review and match day 3 preview as well. So until then, I will see you guys in the next one.